All right. Hey, everyone. This is Tom. I know Bob usually does the introductions here on the Noise Brigade, but we just wanted to kind of throw together, as I mentioned, a cornucopia type episode of just randomness. Um, Maybe it'll be kind of like be like Edge and Christian, right? Right, Bobby?
Yeah, listen, the Edge and Christian show that totally reeks of awesomeness was it was one of my favorites, and I love their pod too, the ENC pod of awesomeness.
Oh yeah, it was a great one. I was kind of, it's funny. So you decided to do this podcast, and I was like, then you wanted to stop doing it, and I said, you know what, I want to jump in on this because I thought about doing one, but I didn't want to just hear myself. And it's funny, that was one of the ones that came to mind. I was like, that's what I aspire to be, is that level of ridiculousness. So that was definitely always one of my favorites to kind of go back and listen to. Um, all right, so just completely random things. When I was probably in middle school, I used to list out, and I started in middle school anyway, and into high school. And heck, I even carried this on into like, remember the MySpace blog days?
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. Of listing out like the 7 songs of the week. I'm not going to do 7 songs, but top of your head right now, what's one song that you're just into? Doesn't matter how new, how old, whatever, just go.
Oh God, so this is gonna be really lame. So there's a couple. All right, so the first one is Suspicious Minds by Elvis.
Very
Um,
good.
so I also found a remix on iTunes because I'm a horrible person, um, of the same song. And believe it or not, the new theme song for the Super Elite, which, if you're not aware, is the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega. So they have a new theme on AEW and on Impact, and it's called Packing Heat, and it goes a little something like this. So, oh, nope, that, yeah, there. So I
You
don't know how
just,
well that came through.
oh, no, and we probably can't do a whole lot because we'll get popped for some kind of random copyright thing.
Yeah.
But, it's funny, you brought me back though. So, and I've mentioned this at some point in our talks here, but in 2008, that was the first podcast I ever recorded. Was I did 6 episodes of me just playing wrestling themes and talking a little bit of wrestling. So yeah, that's cool. I'm so cool. I'm so glad that you brought a wrestling theme into it. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
And then eventually I'll listen. I just had Van Weezer download onto my phone because I'd pre-ordered it, which it was supposed to come out last May, and due to the pandemic and everything, they didn't release it. So, and Rivers went off and wrote like 8 records instead. So that's in my queue. I just haven't listened to it yet.
Gotcha. So all right. I'll do a random one and then something that kind of goes into a note I had on our kind of podcast notes. So Saliva re-recorded Click Click Boom and Your
Ooh,
Disease um, this year and released it. So there's
really?
actually 2021 versions of Your Disease and Click Click Boom. And yeah, completely worth your time if you were fans of the originals. Um, it's cool. So yeah, you have to, whatever service you use, just yeah, check them out. It's cool.
Dude, I can't believe I just popped for Saliva in 2021.
It's crazy. So I sat there and I listen to everything. I'm very eclectic taste, always have been, but I'll always follow back on a lot of alternative, or the new alternative, that the new rock, that genre. And so they'll come up from time to time. And I always had him in playlist, and never, but never was really one of my favorites. And then, sure enough, I see these 20, it's like 2021 versions. Is this a cover? What is this? And I was like, oh my God, it's the band. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. Kind of going on in that same thing, and I'm going to I'll do a quick transition here. Are you familiar with, and I can't pronounce, I don't want to mispronounce the guy's name or whatever, but I'll just, William Morancy, um, with any of the mashup work he's done. Are you familiar with that name?
Um, not off the top of my head, no.
So, kind of one of those YouTube mashup artists. I first heard of him. He put together Ghostbusters and Intergalactic back in around Halloween of 2020.
Ooh.
Wasn't the first person that ever did that, but he was by far the best. Um, and at some point over the last couple of weeks, I just got to like finding some really interesting things the guy did, and he put stuff out pretty periodic, pretty regularly. One of the ones I come across was a mash between "Smells Like Teen Spirit" and a Bruno Mars song.
Oh,
So he crossed up Nirvana and Bruno Mars, and this the one that it just really, you know, blows my mind. But he called it "Smells Like 24 Karat Magic." Um, just really interesting stuff. The way he does things, everything sounds so fluid, like almost like it was meant to be. So been given his work a lot of listens, as goofy as that is, but I've always been a fan of it. You and I have gone back and forth with this because I believe you're the one that introduced me to like the Jay Zer.
I don't remember Jay Zer, but I was really huge into mashups for a long time. Still am. Still into some good mashups. So, but dude, I'm gonna have to check him out. I found a guy online too on YouTube. I can't remember his name. I'll have to send you the link. He really good, and I found it through TikTok of all places, um, because I'm a millennial piece of trash apparently. So,
Nah, nah, it's all good. I I found this funny. I in my random news feed, I had found this, and I can't remember what it was. Um, TechCrunch or one of those random like tech sites, and they had talked about this around Halloween with this guy, and was like, "Wow, this is incredible." And come to find out that just really interesting things, and I just appreciate it. It's and I put a little note in here. Um, I've always been a fan of the mashup, thing, because it's kind of like taking a couple of artworks, like you have a nice comic book like Batman and like this thing from Van Gogh, and just throw it together, and it still makes something that looks pretty awesome. Um, so it's one of those very odd, quirky things, but I just definitely felt that was worth mentioning.
nice.
Um,
As you were talking, I was looking it up, and I found the guy. His name is DJ Cummerbund. And as I was looking at it, there's one on here. I gotta see. I'm gonna try something we haven't tried yet, but he has a on his YouTube page. He has a song. It's a mashup of "Play That Funky Music, White Boy" and "Du Hast." So I'm gonna see if I can get it to play and see if it actually comes over. So tell me if you hear it. Are you able
oh
to
yeah,
hear that?
yep, I got it. Yeah, it's so creepy. It sounds so good.
All right, so we know now how to do music on the podcast. So now everybody's in trouble.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
And
Oh man.
there's one on here that I'm not gonna play until we're off the air, so to speak. It's called Monster Wop.
Yeah, I
And,
don't know, but yeah, I'll have
and I'm
to.
not talking about the slur against Italians. So there's that, which is you know, interesting. So
Oh man. So all right. Um, so we did the music thing. I know you're not into this as much as I am, but do you have a current beer, wine, drink, something? If you're just trying to relax, what are you into right now?
oh dude, that Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale. I want to give a shout out to my boys Mark Thompson and Jim Maschio, aka DJ Tanner. They're doing their morning show, that damn morning show on 106.3 WJSE, the rock alternative in Wildwood and Cape May. They do it's called Craft Beer Friday, and they actually post it on YouTube too. You can check it out, and they're on podcasts and everything. But they have on Craft Beer Friday. Mark tried this one by oh bloody hell! It's called "There's No Ryeing in Baseball," and it's a
Hmm.
lager. It's a rye lager, and I really want to try it out. I can't remember who the heck makes it. It's
The Drury?
the brew. I can't remember who the brewery
No, that's a
is.
home brew. Let's see. There's no
Yeah,
Ryan in baseball. Let's see.
yeah. It's oh snub no snout something
Oh,
snout.
Bolero Snort.
Yeah, Blower Snort. There you go.
Let's
So
see.
he was talking really good about that. And then of course, the Hershey's Yingling Porter is amazing.
Yeah, okay. So can you believe it? No Ryan in baseball. Yeah. It's Bolero Snort. It's funny. I actually had a couple of Bolero Snorts here over the last few days because I brought some back. They're really good. Yeah, I could see that being a good one. The one I've got to give is, and it's funny, I have it on here in our notes. Toppling Goliath, which is a brewery out of Iowa, and a pretty famous one at that. I had a cherry fandango that was given to me by my friend
You gotta let
Jeff.
the A's breathe.
I had a cherry fandango,
There you go.
but it straight up tasted like cherry pie or cherry cobbler,
Nice.
and it was just ridiculous.
So have you
But
had Sam Adams cherry wheat?
yes,
How would you
yes.
compare it to that?
Different beers. That's being a wheat ale. This is more of a sour fruited. So you kind of have uh, a bit heavier, more like eating a dessert, type kind of beer.
Okay.
But it was a tinge sour too, knowing how cherries can be. Both good beers, but completely different profiles. Um, the funny thing is though, just now I finished the Dragon Fandango, um,
I
which
appreciate
is
you letting the A's breathe.
which was the dragon fruit version. Which, if you
Oh,
know me, I love my dragon fruit. Thank
yes,
you.
yes, you do.
um, I
Especially with
think that
kamikaze in it.
you got that right, and a little Snapple Fire, Kamikaze. Um, yeah, I don't know. I thought the cherry one was amazing. The dragon one maybe even better.
Hmm.
Just ridiculously good. So I've got to give a shout out to my friend Jeff for both of those. He's the guy I do my beer trades with, and then yeah, no, some good stuff there.
Okay.
Um, but the like I said, just wanted to kind of do a randomness here. Uh, something that we've had on here for quite some time that we just never can fit in.
Yeah,
This might be the time to do it because
absolutely.
we've transitioned from music to beer to virtual reality. How about that?
Yes, yes, we have. Yes, we have.
So you've had this on here. So why don't you kind of talk about that a little bit? Because we've wanted to talk about VR for a little bit, but I don't know that it
Yeah, it
fills a
just
whole
never came
episode.
up. So, I mean, like, all right, we're roughly the same age. Um, Grew up in the same area, and I know that we've seen ever since I was little. I remember VR being promised as the wave of the future, and it was supposed to be here in the '90s. Um, And there were VR cafes, if you want to call them that, or VR arcades where you could go in. I remember specifically on the Ocean City Boardwalk when we get on ashore, there'd be this place called Reality Bites, and they had two games you could play. And the one was virtual pool, which was the same game for the PC that I found that I could play on my PC, not in virtual reality. But what was cool is you were the cue ball. So you'd sit in this chair and you'd have your little like this little uh, like thruster handle, like it was like a throttle control for a flight stick basically, and you would just fling yourself forward and you were the cue ball, so it was like you were seeing what the cue ball would see. um and I thought that was pretty cool. And then there was the other one where you're in the maze and the pterodactyls are swooping down and trying to attack you, and I always died in that super quick. um but and that was pretty much the extent of what we saw for a while with VR. We kept on getting promised all this stuff at home. We would get the Virtual Boy eventually, which was friggin' god awful. Did you ever
Yeah,
play the Virtual Boy?
yeah. Matt Hill had one.
Oh my
Um,
god.
go figure. Uh, yeah, and I wanted to kind of briefly talk about that because one of those things that was way, way, way ahead of its time, but the technology it obviously was not there for what it was. No, nowhere close. I mean,
Right.
it was you had the color red. Like here, we can't even
Congratulations, you're now Cyclops.
we can't give you the glorious colors of the NES. We're gonna take them all away and just give you red,
Right.
and then we're gonna make sure that everything's aligned. So it's really gonna make things realistic.
Yeah, it was all
Um,
it was a lot of like vector games and stuff.
yeah, cool looking device. I always thought it was neat looking,
Oh yeah.
aesthetically, um, and that's where the buck stopped. Just
I would love to have one sitting on my shelf. They're freaking cool looking, but
yeah, yeah, just a terrible, terrible play though. I would mention that that's probably worse than like the Power Glove.
well, I mean, and,
um,
and here's what it is. What it boils down to for me is that was, I think, the start of Nintendo's obsession with 3D, which honestly, it shouldn't have been called the Virtual Boy. It should have been more like the 3D Boy or something like that. Because aside from, the 3D aspect of it, you weren't getting, it's not like you were moving around. It had to sit on a table unless you strapped it to your face somehow, but you could only walk so far because it had to be plugged into the wall. And the other thing with it was, if you think about it, you look at the Virtual Boy, it was 3D. Did you know, and this is something you maybe you knew this, maybe you didn't, they actually, the GameCube was supposed to be 3D.
um, I want to say I heard that, and it kind of makes sense based on the name, Cube.
Yeah. So so here's how it worked. It was supposed to come with an overlay that would go over your TV, and it would be connected to the GameCube, and you would be playing in 3D. And that's Luigi's Mansion was supposed to be. That was part of the whole reason that Luigi's Mansion existed, was because the ghosts were going to be 3D.
Oh, that makes a lot of
How you
sense.
could see through them and stuff. Which Luigi's Mansion is an awesome game. I love the game, absolutely love it. But it makes so much more sense once you take into account that it was supposed to be 3D, and then that stuff was supposed to be popping out at you and stuff. And then they eventually, they made the 3DS, and they went through a couple of iterations. But one of the games on there was Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which was 3D, and it looked
Right.
great. Sorry, I sidetracked us there for a
No,
second.
no, we're still, hey, no, we're still in VR. So, it's funny and it's kind of cool. We kind of went in a, kind of a timeline type thing. I got to play with an Oculus a few years ago, and I thought it was really cool, but it was only for a few minutes. So I didn't really get enough immersion to really understand what was going on. It was kind of like walking around a museum, and then the dinosaurs came to life, type deal. But it did, say, oh yeah, I'm gonna get myself a PSVR, which was cool because I was like, all right, see myself getting into this. The problem I had with that though, as I noticed, was it did not take me long to get sick. It's really bad motion sickness. And I would try over and over again. And the insane thing was, I know a lot of people get motion sick in the car or on a boat, airplane, whatever. I've never had any of those problems before, ever.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was crazy. Like even when I was in known situations where other people were getting sick, I wasn't at all. Iron stomach, an iron constitution, not a problem. I put the headset on for 10 minutes, I'm done.
Yeah,
Like I just
I
couldn't do it.
I tried it. I had gotten one, I think right around the same time you did. It was before Christmas one year. I caught it on sale, and I had it for not long, and I had the same issue. Um, just it was cool. It was really cool. I really liked it. I wanted it to be awesome, especially because I wanted to play Doom because they had that VR Doom, and I really wanted to play that, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do it, man. And you know, Peyton has it now, and he is in love with it. But
Yeah, I wanted to really, because it was really cool. Some of the stuff really looked neat. I played, Skyrim for it a bit, which, we've talked about that before. I'm a huge Skyrim fan, but I just, I couldn't get past the getting sick part. And I felt like garbage too after for like half an hour to an hour after taking it off. And it just was wild to me because of how I was not that way with anything else. And I got to reading about it, and I think I have a problem with it. A lot of other people have with it is that your mind is playing a trick on your body, thinking that it's actually moving, and you're not. You're just, I mean, yeah, you can be moving your arms or whatever, but you're in a essentially a stationary place. You're not really running down a hallway. You're not really, doing all this craziness, that your mind thinks you are, and that's where the motion sickness apparently comes in. So that's apparently what happened to me. But yeah, no, I don't know. Did you ever play with like the Daydream or any of those like cell phone VR devices?
yeah, Ryan had Ryan, my brother Ryan, when he had come down one time when that stuff had come out. He had brought his, and he had the ViewMaster holder thing, the
Hmm.
ViewMaster phone holder, um, and used Google Cardboard when that was a thing. Um, and we did a couple of the different ones there, and the one I really liked was there was Bohemian Rhapsody, and it was the song, and they did like a VR music video to it. Oh man, it was super cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and I still kind of see if there is a real like heavy future with VR outside of some of the bigger um, applications, and a lot of them I know have the more of a learning application now, where people are like learning how to maybe learning how to drive or kind of studying like pre-med type stuff or doing um, uh, when you're in our biology classes in high school, we got to dissect a pig or frog or whatever, and people are doing that more in virtual environments,
Oh wow.
which is really cool. So I really think those applications are going in that direction. But as far as like the everyday person, I I don't see it, because to me it would have stuck with us by now. I don't, it's kind of hard pressed to see like everyone like, I mean, between just outside of a you know handful of people, and even then, like I know maybe one person that does it, constantly.
Right.
It I just don't see it being the everyday person doing it, on a regular basis, basically.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's something I tried. It's cool. It's a neat little party trick. Ryan has one of the Oculus headsets now, and he uses it. He kind of showed us some stuff, but it's nothing that, I mean, for him, it's something that he uses for work, um, doing whatever undisclosed tech jobs he does. But it's not something that I could ever really see myself digging into and and really messing with on a day to day.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And it's one of those things. But now I'm glad we kind of got to talk about that here. But like I said at the kind of the start of this, just wanted to kind of do a randomness. Doesn't have to be anything else. I don't really have anything that unless you want to get into anything to kind of close this off with, because just kind of a quick thing, so we don't have 3 hours of just garbage.
Yeah, man. There's actually it's something we talked about a little bit earlier that I wanted to mention real quick. Saw a game that I'm definitely gonna have to try, and I think you'll probably end up trying too. Is that it's called Rain on Your Parade, and you get to play an angry little rain cloud, and you got to go around and ruin people's days. One of the levels is pretty funny. You're the rain cloud still, but you're shooting down meteors at dinosaurs, and looks like a fun little. It's on Steam. It's on Switch. It's like $15. I figured it was. It looks like it'll be worth my $15. Um, and oh, one other thing. Shoot, I've completely forgot. So, we're obviously big gamers. Um, and I picked something up the other day that I was amazed that I found for the price I found it for, and just was able to get it. Was I got an arcade one up machine. Um,
Yeah, okay? So yeah, we haven't talked about this here, but yeah, we talked about this through some texting. So what do you think?
it's really cool. My only regret is that I don't have more money and more room to accommodate more arcade one up cabinets. Uh, that's honestly what I'm going to probably do is eventually I'm going to try and figure out a way. I know there's all kinds of mod kits and stuff out there. I would love to be able to figure out a way to put some of the other classic arcade beat 'em ups, like if I could get like Ninja Turtles or like the Simpsons arcade game or the original X-Men arcade game, stuff like that, and put it on there. I think that would be cool. NBA Jam, because there's the NBA Jam cabinet actually out there
Yes,
too.
yeah,
But what the one I got, which I'm super thrilled with, and Peyton absolutely loves. Like I thought he was going to explode out of joy when he saw it. Um, it's X-Men versus Street Fighter, and so it's X-Men versus Street Fighter, X-Men Children of the Atom, which is just an all X-Men Street Fighter type game. Um, X-Men versus Capcom, and then this was the weird one that's on there that I didn't quite understand, but whatever. It's an extra game, I'll take it. It's called X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, and it's actually an SNES game that they ported over to this arcade cabinet. Um, and it's just really cool, man. It's 3/4 size. It came with the riser, so it lifts it up to almost a normal arcade game height. Um, it was very easy to build. The directions are super easy. It looks nice. The art on the sides is phenomenal. And it was, I got it on sale. It was originally $500, and I actually found a YouTube video where they were talking about it prior to it going on clearance. Where it at one point it was selling for like almost $600, $700, and I happened to catch it on sale for 350.
nice, nice.
So for 350, I can't say enough cool things about it. It's got online play. So like if for whatever reason Peyton is tired of kicking my butt, because he has been, which I thought that I would beat him. I thought it would be, easy pickings. Dude, he's been kicking my butt. So if I get tired of him kicking my butt, I can go online and play against other people who have the cabinets so that they can kick my butt instead.
Yeah, what are games for? I mean,
Right.
that's why I only play the same ones that I'm half decent at. So
Exactly.
I don't get mad,
Yeah.
because
See, that's why
I've been known to throw a controller or two.
I I can't tell you how many controllers NFL Street 2 for the Xbox claimed, but I think it was double digits. So I have no right to say anything to anybody.
Uh, all right. Well, I figured, why not? We just try to clear off some of our notes, and we'll have to come in and get some more concrete, fun ones. But this is I think a good way to kind of button up some of the things that we had on there for, gosh, like months.
Yeah, man, this was good. We're clearing out some of the backlog.
That's
Meanwhile, I
right.
still have a backlog of like 200 games I need to play, but we're clearing off some of the podcast backlog, and that's a good thing.
Definitely, definitely. So, I think this will do it for me. You got anything else on this one?
That's it. We're gonna wrap this one up. We will see you all next time.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.